Respuesta.
All right. I was checking some things. Hello, Pontus. How are you, my friend? How's been the weekend? Are you getting nervous about the move? Nice. All right. So today it's gonna be a short one because I'm extremely tired today. So I don't think I will last as long as I have been doing these past streams. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, maybe I just find energies out of somewhere and and we continue. But yeah, I don't think so. I'm quite tired. So let's see. Just let me put everything in a way that I can see properly. All right. So I managed to work a little bit more, just a little bit more on the on the illustration, and yeah, I think it's getting there. Let's see, can you see it properly? Yes. So keeping it rough and painterly as I wanted, so I don't want to go very much in detail and super polish. But yeah, I think from what we did last week, I think that was pretty cool idea. Hey, John Michael. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you around. How are you? All right. Well, hey, John, happy birthday. Congrats for making it one more time around the sun, making one round around the sun one more time in this crazy spaceship. that it's called Earth. I mean, if you think about it, we are just traveling through space and time. But yeah, congratulations, happy birthday. And very happy and surprised to see you around here. Awesome. So yes, let's see what how much I can do during the stream today. I'm not sure neither of how far I want to take the whole illustration. But I think it needs some I mean, even though the main all the main elements are in here, still I think it needs some work just to put everything together in a nicer way. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think I'm happy with going with this kind of godlike demon kind of figure, getting out of the gate, summoned by the evil sorcerer. So yeah, we'll see. I also changed the face of the creature or ogre that the barbarian just killed, because I thought it was too generic, too like the same type of orc creature that you see everywhere. So I thought about making something a little bit more different in that sense, so more like an ogre, or yeah. And I'm actually quite happy with this. I mean, in contrast with the previous head that we had before. So yeah. Hey, Juan Toledano. Hello, welcome. How are you? John Michael. I'm good, just getting ready to make my kiddo to a flower garden park. And you, good sir? I can when you stream and share away your stream. Know that the project of Malice greatly appreciate you. Love the spaceship and time space around the sun analogy. Well, thanks a lot, man. Much appreciated. And yeah, man, it's quite crazy if you think about it, that we are moving through. I mean, Earth is moving. What is it, like 30,000 kilometers an hour or something like that through space? I can't. I mean, I'm just thinking out of my head. I cannot recall, but something of that line. So if we are just like moving crazy fast, and yeah, so it's, and what it is about, I mean, a year is like just one trip around the sun. So it's quite, yeah, we measure time through traveling in space. It's quite insane. John, yeah, you know, yeah, actually you are very, very much on point. We talked about legend when we were discussing the different possibilities for a creature getting out of the door, the gate. And we actually mentioned legend and going to the like these long-horned demon, or well, like on the character from the film, the Lord of Shadow or something like that. So yeah, a good eye. So at the moment, I feel that I need to spend some time with at this point just fixing and seeing things that doesn't work and readjusting more than anything else. So So I think that's what I'm gonna be doing today. And yeah, like as you may have noticed, I still living on the same room. I'm still living in this like prison cell, one could say. I mean, I think it must be like 6 square meters. The rest is just piles of boxes and furnitures and things. So I think I have at least a week and a half more of this. It's taking forever, but John, yeah, totally agree. It's I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing since we don't think about it that often because we are just trapped in our own bubble, right, of everyday life and all these illusion of how things are really. We don't even look at the sky during the night, right? Especially if you live on a city. So when you just pause and think about it, it's just like, at least for me, it's quite insane. And put things in perspective as well, I think. Lydia, thanks for the like. Manu Atreides, buenos días. And Aldiani, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. And Manu, buenos días. Buenos días. No es mi cumpleaños, es de John Michael, que está aquí en el chat. Muchas gracias. y gracias por pasarte por el stream. Peter, yeah, you should get a house tour, well, apartment tour when we are done. Yeah, I could do that. For sure. It's gonna feel fantastic. I mean, it's taking such a long time. And this and of course all of this is just the main works, right? Because once they are ready, then it's gonna have to put all the furnitures back, and it's also a pain in the ass. Yeah. But such is life, right? And of course, needed to say that we're gonna be broke after this because it's so expensive. So yeah. Alviani, hi Miguel, the compo has changed a lot since the last time I entered. Well, I can't remember last time when you were. But yeah, it's been changing around a little. Yes, I think we broke a major point on the process last week when we kind of decided the creature, and we also came up with the idea for creating another element here with a wizard or sorcerer, which adds a lot to the narrative. And yeah, so yes, I agree, it has changed through the process. Peter, did you guys see the Starlink satellites flying across the sky in a straight line? No? No, I haven't seen anything. What is it exactly? Did it happen today? I mean, I am living a little bit on my own bubble lately, so I'm not too much aware of what is happening around the world. I have so many things in my head. Oh my goodness. And I have to record that. John, I would like to say again from the bottom of my heart and the community, thanks you for the Space Wolf sketch holding the banner in memory of Brand. I know you were traveling during that time, and yet you busted out your pen and did an amazing sketch. No problem, man. Yeah, my pleasure. But that was a long time ago, right? Yeah, that was some time ago. But thanks, man. Much appreciated. Thanks a lot. Albiani, I thought that I already follow you. I did wait to catch you up live to hit follow. Thank you. Round of applause for you. Yeah, thanks, man. John, be interesting to see if or who would win the Spider Queen of Dungeons and Dragons or this Demon Lord. Well, I mean, be my guess. I have absolutely no idea, but he looks pretty huge. But that's kind of the cool part, right? So since we are not showing him at all, so it's up to you to decide. I think the problem now is a little bit that the whole space has flattened because it's a little bit too abstract. So I feel that I need to work a little on the environment and space just to make it a little bit more three-dimensional and with depth. So yeah, let's see. And let's see what we can do. Can you please? But what is this? This is so annoying. I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I'm reaching a point where all the layers start to be a mess. Albiani, I'm also Spanish, but as you chose English, I do the same because I did some stream not long ago and I had Spanish and English viewers, and change from one language to another drives me crazy. Okay, where are you from, Albiani? From Spain, or is it from Spain or somewhere else? Well, yeah. Oh my goodness, you see how tired I am? Yes. Where from Spain are you? Sorry. But yeah, it is difficult to do several languages, and I have seen some multilingual streams before, and it's a little bit of a mess. Because of course, if it happens that you know both languages, then it's totally fine. But for those viewers that only know one of the languages, it's very boring and kind of there's no point. So since normally people that follow me are not from Spain, that's kind of why I chose to go with English. But in Spain no me conoce ni el tato. Peter, the fire is back. What do you mean? What fire? This? By the way, have you, if any of you are following on the discussion on the Discord channel, have you any of you got the chance to see the film Midsommar on Netflix? I was very surprised. I had absolutely no expectations. I had no idea what I was getting into. I was just thinking this is gonna be a cheap, silly movie, and that's it. Very superficial. That's it. Oh my goodness. There is anything but superficial on that film. I was completely blown away. I loved it. And it's not scary, just eerie. But yeah, I'm very, very curious to hear if you have seen it, your opinion, because I'm certain that it is not an easy film to like, in the sense that it's not mainstream at all. It is very special in some ways. So yeah, I'm sure that there is a lot of people that are not gonna like it, but I thought it was so clever. So yeah, I mean, there is so much research into it, and visually speaking, my goodness, it's amazing. It's so many, I mean, the art direction and the photography and how all the staging of everything is amazing. Is yeah, I was completely blown away. John Michael, are you still living in Norway? No, I never lived in Norway. I'm living in Sweden, but yeah, close enough. uh, yeah, I do look tired. Not surprised. And yes, I need a break for sure. I'm tired as hell. I have to be managing, planning, supervising, and doing everything for the work at home, with the, you know, the renovation and everything. And sometimes it's super stressful because my apartment is very old. So when we started the renovation, we didn't know what we were going to encounter. You know, you make certain plans and yeah, we're going to do this and at this date we were going to change and do that instead and blah blah. Everything went to hell because as soon as you start to take away things, it's a little bit like archaeology. You start to discover new things and then everything change, and working with different, you know, people, and then you need to coordinate and they cannot do it's just okay. So you get a general idea. So a lot with that, which is extremely stressful and time consuming. At the same time, I'm supposed to be doing client work for my actual work, but I lose a lot of time with the renovation. I also need to go sometimes to pick a material somewhere with the car, you know, so I lose a lot of time, etc., etc. So what that means is that I need to, when the workers leave my place, then I need to catch up with the work that I haven't been able to do for my clients. And that means to stay until late working to catch up. And at the same time, everything starts very early in the morning. So the cycle goes. And then on top of that, I need to be planning and doing things for my own projects, and not just painting, but company stuff. And I'm tired. And then, of course, I need to go and spend time with family. Yeah, I mean, I'm very tired. um, let's see. Peter, where are you from, Peter? I'm very very curious. I could make my guess with that last name. Alviani, oh, from Tenerife. Lucky you. Lucky you. How is life in Tenerife? Do you like it? To me, I feel like the Canary Islands are like a paradise to live in. That's my impression. I've been several times there because my dad used to work there. He was a sailor. But yeah, nice. CHK Studio. Wow, Preciosa Miguel looks incredible. Thank you. Thank you. Very much appreciated. But still lots to do. I mean, the whole, most of everything it's in it already. I just need to correct and fix stuff at this point, I think. John Michael, Midsummer Norway and the bear being the boyfriend. Yeah, I think it's in the... I believe it's in Sweden. But yeah, that film. I seriously... visually, I was blown away of how cleverly done it is and how beautiful at the same time, and how they make everything to make you feel unsettled in a very subtle way, so it's not in your face, to create that unsettling feeling from the very beginning. And you see that constantly. It's one of these films that is done by very clever people. It's not as straightforward as you might think. I was pausing all the time because I was like, oh my goodness, have you seen this and have you seen that? It's like, yeah. Morta Champion, where is the Discord link? Very good question. There is no... let me just put it for you. I still... Since I'm so busy all the time, I keep forgetting to post it somewhere. Let me just... I'm gonna... You are on YouTube? Okay, so I'm gonna post it on... give me a second. There you go. There you have the the link. Alviani, okay, but John, join if you like the Discord. You have there the the server. It's for now it's pretty simple. It's just I'm planning to make something a little bit more advanced for when I build and put together my future Patreon for my project. But for now, it's just kind of a discussion forum for everybody, and just to share work that we are doing or looking for feedback, and also to share inspiration. And yeah, so there are different channels in it for that. And we were talking about the film on Netflix called Midsommar. That is very vaguely inspired on the actual celebration here in Sweden, and well, I guess in all in Scandinavia, with the same name and of pagan origin. But yeah, it is very clever. I mean, I think it is a very interesting film and to watch just for the art side of it, the visual language that is used in it. Just for that reason, I think it's worth it to watch. And that's what I shared this on Discord. Because I yeah, so many clever ideas, yeah, and so it's not scary at all. It's just super unsettling. It's about religious cults, and I will leave it there. will not yeah, say any spoilers. But yeah, any thoughts? Have you any of you guys seen it? I'm dying to hear your thoughts. Gathering wolves, hired guns. What do you mean? About the Warhammer 40k game? If you are just throwing that question out in the air just like that, it's difficult for me to know what you mean. Stood Muffin 30. Love the Space Pirate sketch, Miguel. Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm obsessed with space pirates. And if you haven't guessed for now, if you have missed some of the streams where I've been talking about my projects, own project is, yes, it's about space pirates. So being I'm thinking a lot about that theme. But yeah, what I'm gonna be doing, or well, better said, what I'm doing, even though very limited at the moment, is around this theme of space pirates. And hopefully soon I can get started with it, to spend more time on this personal project. But of course I need to find another way to pay the bills. So because if I spend time working on this personal project, of course I don't have, that is time that I take away from client work, and that means less money. So I need to find a way to compensate a little that, so at least I can cover some basics. Yeah, so that's why I'm planning to use Patreon, and hopefully if at some point something, I mean, like the YouTube channel, which is I'm really struggling to get hours of views. Maybe I can monetize it somehow, but it's a very long process, and yeah, so we'll see. But so yeah, I'm really looking forward to be able to jump and start diving on the project. I'm super hyped, and if people like the theme of space pirates, which as much as I do, and I think I'm not alone, I think it's people are gonna enjoy it. But I don't want to say much of it yet. I will do a fully announcement explaining in detail what is the project, what are my goals and scope, and like this, hopefully if people like it and find it interesting, people will be willing to jump on and contribute and to the project by helping me with some small support. That will be huge. So yeah, we'll see. You are on fire today on the on the chat. I'm struggling to keep up and painting at the same time. Peter, the Midsummer movie did a great job showing how the antagonists are evil because we don't understand their values. Right, so you saw the film. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have I think this multi-layered film, because it is not just about the obvious things that are happening, but I feel that it is also like some a metaphor for the relation that the main characters are going through. So it's like the breakup, so to speak. And I think I think they are killed not for being evil or for being assholes towards their culture or their views or their religion, but they were taken there to be killed on purpose. I mean, from the very beginning, there is a lot of visual cues that are telling you what is going to happen at the end, constantly. That's one of these things that I really enjoyed, of seeing that from the very beginning they are showing you in like some of the tapestries, the opening of the film shows you exactly what is gonna happen, and everything is told like a tale in that sense. I don't know. I was blown away. Maybe it's not that special, but maybe it was because of I wasn't expecting anything from it, and yeah. Stud Muffin, keep it up, man. Thank you. Much appreciate the support. Even words, kind words like that means a world to me. Thank you. John Michael, I really liked it, but Hereditary 10 times enjoyed more. You know, I haven't seen it. It's from the same director, but I haven't seen it. So I cannot. I have heard awesome things about it, but I haven't got the chance to watch it. So yeah. But I heard that is brilliant. Did you end up stating if you still in Norway or Denmark? I don't understand. I'm not following. If it is sorry, if the thing is on, the film is in Sweden. Yeah, it is, because it happens, they fly to Stockholm, and the film happens in a region that it's actually exists in Sweden. I cannot remember now, but yeah, it is up north. So yes, it is Sweden. Alviani, boof, and having workers in home is a bit invasive. Well, it is fine. In that sense, it is okay, because I have this room where I'm living is the living room at the moment. So that's the only space where I'm living. And they don't enter here. And the rest of the house, it has been like a war zone, if you know what I mean. So it's fine. I don't feel invaded in that sense. So it is okay. Okay, Peter. I think I would say that Poland. John Michael, who pays better, Games Workshop, or the PC video game industry? Who's better to work for, as giving you full reign? I don't know what is reign is. Well, in general, concept art for video games or films, it's way better paid, in my opinion, than illustration work. It is better paid, but of course, I mean, I'm generalizing. It depends quite a lot. In terms of Games Workshop, they are one of the companies that pays the best for this type of illustrations. I mean, if you compare with others, yeah, it's among one of the best. But to be honest, if I'm doing things for Games Workshop, it's not for the money, but because of the pleasure of doing things with them. I would do much more money just doing concept art. Alviani, whoa, you are the real pirate then. Yeah, kind of. Living here is awesome. The bad thing is that the game industry here doesn't exist. There is a couple of indie studios and the animation industry is growing, but as a aspiring professional is kind of tricky. Okay, but I would say that okay, if you are looking for a in-house studio, then yes, that is an issue, and normally that is something that I would always recommend anybody to do on the very beginning. But for later on, if you want to, you are up for freelancing, you can be anywhere. So you are not limited by how the industry is in your area. I mean, I'm working as myself as a freelancer. I'm working, yes, with clients in Sweden, but I'm working all over the place in terms of all around the globe. I had clients from Canada, from the United States, from Singapore, all over the place in Europe. So yeah, I've been very close to work for Chinese companies as well. Never happened. I always stepped back. I never went with it, but yeah. So freelancing is definitely a solution. The only issue is that if you are starting as a freelancer, it's going to be very hard. So that's why I normally recommend to start a job on an actual studio. Gain some experience to know how things are done in a studio. And then, of course, like this, that's going to help you immensely to understand your clients later on as a freelancer. And yeah, I mean, it makes a world of a difference. And I know from colleagues, and when I was working on a studio and working with freelancers, that they have no clue of how things are done on a studio, and it's yeah, it is not a nice experience. So so when you find a freelancer that has that experience and know how things are done and know what are the expectations and everything, then it's fantastic. And the only way to do that is going through studio position first for some years. CHK Studio, the atmosphere and colors works really nice. I love the paint miniatures. I'm sorry. I love to paint miniatures, and your works are very inspirational. How do you start a work like this? Just directly from an idea, or picking up few references and building it up with your personal touch? It depends immensely from case to case. Sometimes I might have a very specific idea of what I want to do, and then it's very straightforward from the very beginning. And sometimes it's just looking for inspiration. I don't know exactly what I'm want to do, and I'm just like looking around for getting inspiration for some idea. So it depends. In this case, it's a combination of both. I had a very clear idea. I wanted to do a very, like, the core idea, right? The subject matter. I knew I wanted to have the barbarian, that he was going to be confronting with a almost impossible challenge after being stranded in 4 years in this dungeon. So that's kind of the subject matter, right? So and the protagonist and the focal point is him. So that's what I knew from the very beginning. But then, and I knew I wanted to have like this final boss, this creature that he was going to confront, but that it was not going to be shown in full light. I wanted to keep it like mysterious, or so all of these I knew from the very beginning. I knew what I wanted. I know I had an idea of the pose of, and the whole composition. But once I started to work, then there were many elements that I did not know, and then they have been just coming up along the process. Like, for example, having this creature here, and especially this other character here, and also deciding who the creature or the final boss was going to be. In the very beginning, it was going to be this creature, but then it felt a little bit not quite there yet. And then last stream we came up with the idea of, how about if the actual nemesis is the sorcerer, but he's summoning like this creature to kill the barbarian. So it kind of make the whole thing a little bit more interesting, and also visually speaking, also makes it more interesting on the composition and everything. So yeah, it's been a little bit of both, having a clear idea for the subject matter, but then still open for new things along the process. Morta's champion, thanks, thank you. Alviani, but you also, I was thinking that there is also like a lot of great professionals in the Canary Islands. I don't know exactly where they are where they live, but and they good they make a good living out of it. John Michael, who's your favorite Space Marine chapter or faction? I feel that you have a knack for the Cogs Heads of Mars. Well, actually, no. I mean the Mechanicus. I think they are super interesting as like the example with the previous character that I did for during the stream, like very appealing to make some character design because of it's a very, I think it's a very interesting faction. But I'm completely in love with Space Marines since I was a kid. Space Marines is my faction in 40k lore. And in general everything human related, but I have a soft spot for Space Marines. Yes. And what is my favorite Space Marines chapter? You know, I have so many. It's difficult to say. I mean, when I was a kid, I got in love with the Space Wolves. And I think through the years, they have become a little bit more cartoony in some way. So I kind of lost a little bit of interest on them because they feel more, cartoony in that sense. And I have started to go into a more mature chapter in that sense. They feel a little bit childish in some way. But yeah, there are many chapters that I feel they have such an extreme interesting lore and their look. So I don't think I have I mean, some of them I love the look, others I love the lore or their how they are, you know, and so it's difficult to say. But yeah, Space Marines in general are it's my thing. And after that, anything human, so Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum as they call them now. But yeah. Lucius, hello, welcome to the stream. I'm a little bit behind on the chat because you guys are on fire. Oh my goodness, it's like such a long call. Do you want me to paint or just talk? Let's see, where was I? CHK Studio, how's it called? Midsummer, yes, exactly, on Netflix. Alviani, that is awesome. Haha, Space Pirates. You should try to play Warframe if you have a chance. If I had the chance, if I had the time. I know about the game. I love the designs. But yeah, I don't have. Sadly, I don't have the time. And I miss playing some more video games since I'm such a gamer. But since I started as a freelancer, it's it's not happening. From time to time I find the time to play something, but it's and funny enough, there is two reasons for that. One is the obvious, that is like time. I don't have time, material time, to do that. And then the other one is that the few times, if I could have the time for it, I have such a pressure that I need to, there are so many things that I need to do, that I decide not to, because I feel the pressure. And sometimes that is not necessarily good, actually. I think it's I recognize that it's important just to let it go and drift away from everyday's responsibilities to some point, because it can be a little bit overwhelming being a freelancer. It's awesome, I like it quite a lot, but at the same time it can be a little bit overwhelming at times. John Michael, I totally understood the meaning behind the sacrifice. The question is drawn to here in America that would you rather live your elder life in a nursing home or go out with a plunge once intended. Yeah. Yeah, I think there is definitely, I mean, that's one of these things that I liked about the film, and it has many layers of how you could read it, which I enjoyed, and that one was an obvious one, right? And the obviously the one could say the cultural clash, right, from the British couple that are there, and they completely freak out. I mean, I think I would freak out as well. But at the same time, it's like when I was watching, it's like, yeah, even if, of course, it's such an extreme situation that it's difficult to envision how you would react, right? In being on their place. But at the same time, I was thinking, like, I myself, knowing that I'm in a religious cult, and because it happens that I have, because of work, I have done a lot of research into religious cults, and I have read and a lot about them. It's like, you don't mess with religious cults if you are in that situation where you are literally at their mercy, right? So even if you think that is appalling, that is horrible, you should just try to keep it quiet and to yourself, just in case, right? And then to your point is like, yeah, sure. I mean, even if you would arguably and objectively say that, yeah, that's quite brutal, and I'm not sure, especially with modern medicine, and 75 years old, I think, is when they decide to die, right? So it's like, you could argue that you still can have a decent life being an elderly person at this point. Maybe in the past times there's a different thing, but so maybe it would be more than reasonable just to question such a philosophy, right? But once again, it's like a different culture, and I don't know. I find it very interesting, and I don't want to give too many clues to avoid spoilers. So yeah, that's why I'm a little bit vague. John Michael, rogue traders would possibly be your favorite faction. Well, actually, they are extremely appealing because of the piratey side to it, right? So I think they, as a concept, as an idea, the rogue traders are awesome. Yes. But once again, Space Marines are my, I don't know, I think they are awesome. I have such a soft spot for them. But yeah, rogue traders are, I think, if there is something I would like to be in the Warhammer 40k, it would be a rogue trader. I think that if I would fantasize about it, because regardless of how awesome Space Marines are, your life as a Space Marine, it would be miserable if you think about it. Just the existence of violence and pain all the time, and death. And probably a horrible death. So yeah. Summary. Good night, everybody. Well, good night I don't know if that is a hello or a goodbye. uh, but yeah, good night. Either way. Peter, I think if you want to grow your YouTube, I think you need to use non-live stream media to build up the audience. I think it's hard to follow a channel that only use live stream if you miss the cast. Yeah, totally. I am totally aware. I mean, the thing is that I don't have time to dedicate to YouTube as much as I would need in order for it to grow as fast as I would like to. So I do the minimum, so it grows slowly, but at the same time I have too many other things that are bigger priority. So I'm a little bit on there. I still have videos that are not I have tons of videos of that are not live stream, but especially since last year or half a year, I have stopped making so many videos so often because I didn't have time. So in some way also it's good that I could use the live streaming to cover up a little bit of it. But yeah, I'm working on and the thing is that the best thing for the type of things that I could do on YouTube would be tutorials and not the time-lapse videos that I normally do have. The thing is that to do, I don't want to do crappy tutorials, and to do that you need to put some good time doing it, which I don't have. So yeah, so I do what I can. The few tutorials that I have, they are very simple. I started a series for creating your own brushes, but I just managed to do on the first video of the series. Still they're waiting for the time to do that. I'm, as I mentioned many times, I'm working on these very long series of tutorials about Space Marines, which since I started the works at my place, I had to stop doing it. But as soon as the renovation is finished, I will retake. But I'm very focused on it, so it will happen. So it's just that it's taking for a long time. So that hopefully would help with the growth of the channel, and especially with hours of views. And yeah, so but yeah, you are totally right. I mean, the live stream I'm doing is not for the sake of the channel itself. It's just to have a chance to talk to you guys. Really, that's the main reason. And that was the original reason, and now of course I have a lot of fun doing it, so that has taken over from this idea of okay, so communicating directly, but now it's I have a lot of fun. Lucius, reaching out to other creators and doing some sort of collab could help a lot too. Finding the time is the greatest obstacle here, I think. Yes, you are. Again, you are also very right as well with that. The thing is, I have when I did it, I started freelancing and starting to create my company, started to think with how I could do that and how to manage with my personal project and everything. I was aware of all of that, but at the same time I'm juggling with too many things at the same time, and and I need to prioritize. And YouTube has not been the priority. The priority has been first the client work, and yeah, I mean, it's time, and for now it's not gonna change. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping that at least these Space Marine tutorials will help. Because there are gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 episodes, I think, and they are gonna be quite long each. So yeah, we'll see. Cantabrian. Looking good, Miguel. Sorcerer really pulls the eye and leads the eye up to the demon. Thanks, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, I think it's all right. At least for now. I'm not completely bought into how it looks now, but yeah, it is it's shaping up nicely. Yeah. And this is too. I don't like how. And the thing is that, of course, I mean, this thing with what to do with YouTube or anything is like, if my goal was to becoming a YouTuber, then of course that would be the priority, and then anything else would be, yeah. But I don't want to be a YouTuber. I just want to have YouTube as a secondary thing, as support media thingy. So yeah. Peter, Miguel, good guess. Yes, I was born in Poland. Yeah. But I fled to the US from communism. So now I live in California. All right. Okay. Yeah, but with that last name, yeah. Yeah, it looks very, very Polish. Now, and what a change, I guess. But I'm guessing it was your parents, right? Because, I mean, that was some time ago. So you've been living all your life in the US, or tell us your story. Alviani, yeah, I had works in the roofs of my house once, and it was completely removed to bring it back, and all the house was a mess. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the renovations are, yeah, it's now it is okay. I mean, now it's good because it's I mean, it is not on that stage anymore, so it is good. It's just few things that need to be, yeah, like painting the new walls and and finishing the kitchen. So things are starting to shape up nicely, but still, yeah, it's gonna take at least a week and a half or 2 weeks. So it's gonna be a month and a half living in this prison cell. And that just, I mean, and my family is not living here with me. They are just with some friends because we cannot fit in this room. So I'm living alone in this prison cell on myself, and so I can deal with the renovation. Aldiani, that is awesome. I'm currently working in my reel, and I prefer to be in house, but honestly, I don't care if I start remotely, but I would like to have the experience in house. May I ask what type of work are you would you like to do? You mentioned artist, so something related with art, but is it concept art or illustration or 3D or animation? What is it? Or texture artist, prop artist? Just curious. But yeah, I mean, if you want to jump into video games, my recommendation is always to go first on an in-house position, and after just consider doing freelancing, because freelancing, even though I love it, I wouldn't change, but at the same time it's very challenging, and then you need to understand how things are done in-house. I mean, you can, of course, you can do it directly, but I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, and there are so many different angles to that. For example, something that you wouldn't think so much of it, but it can play a big thing, is normally things work at a different pace on a studio, and they have so many issues all the time, so many. I mean, yeah. So somebody that is working as a freelancer but hasn't worked on a studio, I'm generalizing here, right? So of course there's going to be a lot very professional freelancers there with no experience in house, but it is very common that freelancers that have not experience working in house, they tend to have a very they tend to think, and not as a fault of themselves, but because it makes sense, but it's like everything turns around them, right? They only see their point of view of things. They haven't answered me in time, or without understanding that things that happen sometimes in a studio are taking all the energy. So you need to think a little bit bigger, and that you are just a very tiny cog on a very, very, very big machine. And of course, if you don't have that experience, it is very difficult to really understand it. And and then also plan accordingly, having those things in mind, and or like bombarding all the time your client with questions, or maybe they don't have the time, right? So yeah, I don't know. And this is one thing that just came up in my mind now, but there are hundreds of things. So yeah, work on a studio for some years, and then if you are considering freelancing, then make the jump, but always go first to on a studio. And once again, I mean, that is a very tiny thing of all the aspects to think about when you are a freelancer. So Pontus, got to try get professional experience from wherever you can when you start out. Yes, very, very good point, of course. So again, I mean, I'm not saying that it cannot be done, and you can start in freelancing from the very beginning, but my recommendation is to do that. Because in one hand it's going to be easier, and on the other hand, because it's going to give you such a knowledge, perspective, and understanding that you will never get if you don't have that experience. That is going to help you immensely in your work directly on what you are actually doing, but also in communicating with your clients and understanding their perspective and their needs. And that is a vital part of a freelancer. That's another aspect that people, when they consider starting freelancing, everything is about, let's say, if it's about concept art, everything is about concept art and the concept art that you are doing. But that is a portion of the work itself, because you are, another vital part is knowing how to talk, communicating with your clients, understanding what they need, giving, so yes. And that is why it is also so much work on top of the basic, which is making concept art, or whatever else. CHK Studio, that is very interesting. You can really see how fucked up is the poor barbarian. That demon is going to be a problem. Yes. Don't ask. I mean, he's supposed to win this encounter. I mean, I'm telling you, spoilers. The barbarian will win. Now, don't ask me how. I have no idea, no clue, and I will never explain. But the idea is that the barbarian will win. So maybe he just killed the sorcerer and somehow is vanished. Who knows? But yeah, it's gonna be a tiny problem. I agree. Alviani, yeah, all right. So many people. Yeah, I guessed. Yeah. Agumaf. Hola, gente. Fue un alto progreso de la idea del brujo de la semana pasada. Tremendo. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias, Agumaf. Pontus, 40k one of the only fictional universe no sane person ever wants to visit or be part of. Yeah. But to be honest, let's have a serious talk, Pontus. The thing is that yes, the 40k universe, is insane. It can be, yeah, pure insanity for the on the wrong side of things. At the same time, I am of the opinion that there is also room for a lot of normal, okay way of living or existence, or even good. It's just that we never looked into those places, right? We are always, I mean, think about it. It's such a huge universe. It's the whole fucking galaxy. It's insane. So, I mean, and we are always focusing on the most horrible moments, right? Let's say a rebellion, the destruction of a planet, or a insane war or battle. But maybe that world, let's say X world, was living in peace for many centuries before it got destroyed. So if it happened that you lived through those centuries, then it could have been okay, or even good. And I mean, let's say that, yeah, but you know, maybe it's like the authoritarian nature of the empire and everything. Well, but yes, once again, I mean, there are plenty of places that are gonna be horrible, and you're gonna be a slave, and it's gonna be worse than the Big Brother. So it's gonna be hell of an existence. But on the same time, there must be many other places that is kind of okay. One of the reasons why, for instance, I love so much Dan Abnett's work on his novels, because he shows environments and places that are not that insane as well. So those realities can coexist on the same universe at the same time. So yeah. But in general terms, now, yes, I agree. I mean, it is insane. If it happened to be that you end up in one of these crazy moments, or, I mean, it would be nightmarish. I mean, one of the scenarios that I most dread out of 40k is not, for instance, something related with chaos and demons, even though you could arguably say that that's the worst. But it's the one that I find insanely terrifying is a Tyranid invasion. I think I think that would be so scary. Alviani. Okay, concept art and illustration. All right. Okay. Yeah, illustration in that sense is gonna be more difficult because very rare places have in-house illustrators, and then some of these things that I was talking about, how things work in a studio, don't apply to to illustration. But if we are talking about concept art, yes. So that recommendation would include concept art. Peter, yes, I fled when I was young, but I can talk about my travels some other time. All right, no pressure. I find that subject of the communism, how do you say, historical time interesting, and I have plenty of friends that were from from the influence of the Soviet Union, right? So Poland, or I don't know, Romania or Hungary. and it's always fantastic to hear. But I also have family that is from Russia, so originally from Russia. Then my girlfriend, she's from Lithuania, so she born on the actual Soviet Union, which, if you think about it, it's quite insane that she born on the Soviet Union. So yeah, I have a close connection to that from the experience of others, of course, being from Spain. It's yeah, but I'm pretty familiar with with those stories, and I always find it very interesting. So that's why I was curious. Alviani, yeah, I understand. That's why I prefer the in-house experience first. Okay, cool. Yeah, I try to do that. Yes. I love how intense you get when hyped with 40k talks. Yes. Yeah, I'm a big nerd of 40k. I feel, I mean, it's so silly if you think about it. That I get so passionate with 40k related stuff, but I cannot avoid it. I think it's such an inspiring and awesome fiction universe. I love it. Lucius, there has to be some nice places to live on Ultramar. Yeah, for example, or I mean there has to be places. I mean, that's the thing, that that universe, if everything was that insane and that crazy, it wouldn't work. I mean, it's materially impossible. I mean, you could not sustain a regime of that size as a galaxy big, and with so many people, if everything is that crazy. I mean, in some cases those craziness and madness is gonna be there, and it's gonna suck if you are there. But other places are, I mean, I think there is a wide range, right, from the both extremes, from actually an awesome place, and then I could argue that, okay, those cases are gonna be very small ones, and then to the extreme nightmarish existence. But there's gonna be a middle range there that is gonna be very wide of craziness or normal existence. And then, of course, if you extend that then with the concept of time, then things are not that crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, still we're talking about 40k universe, but yeah. Mortas, oh yeah, those alien things are terrifying. Yeah, man. I mean, the a Tyrannid invasion of a planet has to be terrifying, because also, I mean, the whole nature of everything, it's gonna look so apocalyptic as well, and it's almost unstoppable. Have you read, any of you, the novel of at them high school? the one where the Kraken fleet attack Baal, the planet of the Blood Angels, where I think they gather more than 20 Space Marine chapters of the Blood Angels bloodline to stop it, and almost everybody dies trying, and they are just saved by Gilliman just by this and because of a weird intervention by other things that happened. But yeah, you barely cannot do anything against them. So it's and the fact that you are being eaten alive, I mean, it's just like, ugh. I find it very, very the most scary thing for me, more than demons. Okay, let's see. It's a long answer from Pontus. Yeah, there are good parts, but they are far from normal. From what I know, even good life as a pretty good ranking citizen on an imperial world seems very miserable. But yeah, the spectrum of what is possible is of course endless in such a universe. Just saying that living on a world where it's considered good life worth living is rare in 40k. Just playing the odds games, you don't have good chances even if you never ever see war. And yes, okay, Pontus, I agree. In general terms, and maybe that is something very common, but still, there has to be definitely places where it's actually not that miserable. I mean, so I mean, I could come up with plenty of, let's say, an agri world is where it's just farmers. Maybe just the common life. It's quite okay because it's you know, or I mean, and just let's say without any type of speculation, all right? So if we just go with things that are canon from the lore, from novels, you get there is plenty of examples where actually the lives of people of imperial I cannot speak, my goodness, of imperial citizens in many places is quite okay, you know. Maybe it's in some cases it's not as good as we could have it nowadays, but in other places it could. So I'm of, again, this is a personal opinion, I am of the opinion that it is not that uncommon to have a okay existence on the 40k universe. Is just that it's maybe the odds are against it, or there's more likelihood that if you compare in terms of numbers, there's going to be more people that are miserable. But still, that doesn't mean that there are plenty of places where it's quite okay. And then, of course, and once again, and the thing is that this misconception or misperception is the fact that we always focus on the very, very, very bad places or the very, very bad moments. Right? Let's say, I don't know. In you could say that living in Earth in the 40k universe and during the dates of after the heresy and especially more in the 41 millennium, it has to be pretty nightmarish in some areas, right? Or I mean, it can be pretty horrible. But then let's say if you are talking, or before the unification of the emperor, the unification wars, but let's say on the very early age of the Imperium, before the Horus heresy, maybe living in Earth was quite okay, and very positive vibes, and maybe, and there are, and is centuries long period of time, right? So if you were lucky enough to live during that time there, it could have been very positive experience. I don't know. And then all like dozens of examples in the lore of planets where it's actually quite okay, and not that far from many places nowadays, and it's quite a okay existence. It's not as crazy as they portray. I think once again, for instance, I mean, all the novels from Dan Abnett are my favorite examples of that, where you have plenty. And once again, I mean, in so many cases, in lots of examples, they just talk about events, and those events are nightmarish and apocalyptic, but until that moment, that place could have been okay. It's just that after or during that event, it's horrible. Lucius, I would rather live in 40k than rewatch the Ultimate animation, that's for sure. Yes, man, yes. That I would say I would rather get somebody to take all my teeth with an anesthesia than watch that again. It's so bad, my goodness. It's so bad. Mortas, what's my favorite Warhammer author? Dan Abnett, without a question. And there are many others that I really like, but for me, the one and only, it's well, not only, but the one on the very top is Dan Abnett. I mean, he's the one that kind of made the 40k novels work and make them plausible and I mean, not just like lore from a game, but just a place that actually makes sense and it's understandable and you can relate to. He's the very first one. And then aside from that for me that is huge, is that it happens that all his novels are fantastic. I love them. And by the way, no spoilers alerts, because I'm not gonna say anything, but I just finished his latest novels, the Paria, from the Elizabeth Beckwith trilogy. Is the second book. The third one hasn't been out yet. Oh my goodness, what a bomb. There is such a lore bomb in that book that I couldn't believe. I'm completely like flabbergasted. It's like, what? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just will leave it there. But it's insane. It is insane. And I cannot, it's like the biggest cliffhanger of all times. I cannot wait to see what the fuck happens on the third book. Yeah. But just by the title, that is gonna be titled Pandemonium. I think that's very telling. but still, like the lore bomb that he has done in on this book is just is like a nuclear bomb, lore wise, in my opinion. It's just insane. So Peter, all right, man, take care. Thanks a lot for passing by. Pleasure as always. Take care. Pontus, you did that Pontus there. I explained it already, but yeah, he's because of those reasons, he is the one that created this trend of not just trying to replicate a tabletop miniatures game into a novel, but just expand and create something that is actually plausible. Lucius, yeah, the devastation of Baal. Yeah, that's the title of the Blood Angels novel. Pontus, I would rather meet Tyranids than Dark Eldar. And yeah, I could settle on a pleasure world. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, the thing with the Tyranids or Dark Eldar is like, yeah, maybe it's worse to end up captured by a Dark Eldar for sure, because at least if the Tyranids kill you, maybe you have a horrible death, but it ends there, right? And not with the Dark Eldar. But what I find terrifying about them is the experience of an invasion. I think, I mean, it's, yeah. That's what I find terrifying. Maybe the outcome for you as an experience is horrible, but at least it has an end. But yeah. Lucius, out of roughly 1 million worlds within the Imperium, at least one planet had to be a nice place to live at one point within the Imperium 10,000 years lifetime. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's like being generous. So that's the thing. There is so many. Yeah, I am very strongly opinionated about this. the more I think about it, is like it wouldn't make any sense if everything is that crazy and horrible. I mean, it wouldn't work. It literally couldn't work. But yeah, but I think where we can agree is on the fact that yeah, in terms of numbers, is gonna be weighting more towards the negative, but of course there's always gonna be cases where it's quite all right. Lucius, you cannot wait to read it. Hype, yeah. So you have read it as well, the the latest with Beckwin. It is, I don't want to say anything because it's it would be such a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say. But it's like my goodness. And to be honest, this is a thought that I was having after finishing it, and it was a troubled thought regarding the universe of 40k, and it's the thing that so far the universe has worked as and I'm talking as a IP, as a intellectual property and a universe, because it has advanced very little through the decades, right? It has been very stable. Everything was the lore, so to speak, it didn't move forward. It was everything turned around a year and then on the past, but you know, things now, because of course it becomes a intellectual property that they want to take profit out of it. Obviously it makes sense, but that is going to force the hand into moving too much things forward, and that always has the problem or the potential for ruining it and becoming something that is not, that it doesn't become 40k anymore, right? Wait, what happened? Thanks for the follow. I'm not gonna repeat the name, too many numbers, but yeah, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, so I'm starting to have a little bit of that fear, that because yeah, the novels are fantastic, and but as soon as they start advancing the current timeline and developing and expanding and changing things, well, what can happen is actually what, let's say, for instance, like what has happened with Star Wars, right? Like have completely ruined the IP, just trying to, because who tells you that maybe in some years somebody else takes the torch, continuing, and they are horrible and they do a super bad job, but the trend is there. So I think they need to be conservative and just leave it as stable, and yeah, in terms of lore and getting new things, it's a little bit more boring, but at the same time I think it's for the best in the long run. I mean, yeah, I think they should, I mean, if they want to create novels and stuff like that, I think it's safer to do things like the Horus Heresy or going back in time, because then they can do whatever they want. Is still within the what is already established and works. So the same thing with for example the original Eisenhorn novels, right? So it's still not current timeline, it's a little bit last centuries of the 41 millennium. But yeah, but everything regarding the speculations with the Primarchs and things after the Indomitus Crusade and everything, if they want to move forward and they want, there is a lot of danger there. So I don't think it would be wise, because it's gonna change the universe. It's gonna make it something that is not 40k anymore. It's gonna be something different. And what we like is 40k for what it has been all these decades, right? Aldiani, I'm not too familiar with the lore of 40k. I was listening to a podcast in YouTube about it, but I'm far to know a thing. I ended in the Necron story. Quite interesting. I played Eldard in miniature, still have them, but need a quite huge restoration. But I had a lot of fun back in the day. Nice. And Pontis, yeah, I warmly recommend Lutin on YouTube. I completely agree with Pontus. Lutin, I think, is it was actually Pontus that recommended to me. I didn't know about him, and I think he's the best in my opinion when it comes to 40k lore and his vision and understanding of it as a commentator, so to speak. Lucius, yeah, man. Star Wars is just gone. Is such a, they have done such a, they butcher it. It's, I was watching a review of the two last ones, right? The Rise of Skywalker and I can't remember now which one is what. By this guy, I think he's a comedian. He's a very fat guy on YouTube. And he was doing a review of the film. Oh my goodness, it was hilarious. Of how bad they are. I can't remember. I will try to find it and put it on the Discord channel. These reviews, videos about it. And everything that he's saying is completely on point, right? But in a very, very funny way. And it is sad. Because they completely destroyed it. I mean, now they have which I haven't seen. Everybody says that they are fantastic, the Mandalorian, but still that doesn't count because it's behind in the timeline, right? So yeah, the thing with Star Wars is such a, it's quite insane how bad job they have done when they had it relatively easy to do. I think they in my personal opinion, I think they did a fantastic work with Rogue One. Fantastic film. It's one of my favorite Star Wars themed films. But the ones about the trilogies, oh my, it's garbage, literally garbage. I mean, and I'm not just talking in terms of like objectively garbage. It's not that I prefer this, I like more, is my taste. It's not like from a cinematography point of view, script wise, is garbage. Visually, they are as fantastic, right? So it's like the visuals, the designs are insane. It's but as a piece of film of what is supposed to be a storytelling, phew. Lucius, I'm not sure how they let Star Wars fail that spectacularly. I'm of the same opinion. I think it's insane. And not only that, I mean, just think about it. It gets to such insane level that you get two different directors that on the second and the third film they are destroying, I mean, each other's work, right? On the third one is kind of trying to redirect some plot lines that were established on the first one but were removed on the second film by the other director, which I cannot remember the name, but yeah, I should be put in prison for such a film. And the third one is also garbage as well, right? But it's like you have like this fight between these two directors, and it's like it's pure insanity if you think about it, how millions they cost and they would let that happen. Is just I mean, just one aspect, right? So it's but yeah, it's quite insane. 40k can afford to slow down for sure. A lot of interesting areas they can explore. Exactly, that there is no, the universe is so big and you have such a long time span as well, so there is plenty of room to create and expand as much as you want, but not shaking the foundation of making what 40k is, right? If now, for instance, the thing with Gilliman and his reappearance, it is very you could say risky, right? But they did it. Okay, it works, but it's already getting into a muddy situation, if you ask me. Because if you wanted Primarchs, go with the Horus Heresy, go before that period. Then you can have as much Primarch action as you want. But if now they start to wake up Primarchs, you know, 40k is not going to be what it is anymore. It's going to be something different. And again, I mean, it can become another Star Wars. Are you thinking about the red letter media, Pontus? I don't know what are. Can you expand? What is that? Regarding these reviews, I can't remember what is the name of the channel, but he's a very big fat guy with many toys on the back, and I think he's a comedian. I'm not sure, but the review was so, I mean, completely on point. And not only that, but it's actually very funny. I will put the link on the on the Discord server. Mr. Creep, awesome painting. Thanks, thank you, thanks a lot, and welcome to the stream. I'm actually not painting that much because I mean, you guys have been on fire with the chat today, so trying to catch up with you. Lucius, I watched The Mandalorian, but I felt like it was hard to ignore how badly the state of canon is in. Yeah, I haven't seen the series, but everything that I heard is that it's very good. But yeah, exactly, that's the thing. If you are establishing the canon and the foundation of the IP and universe with those main films, and they are just literally destroying everything, it's just like, yeah, what's the? I mean, I can't think. I mean, of course, I'm a dot in a drop on a ocean, right? So I'm not relevant whatsoever, but I myself, I always considered myself like a Star Wars fan. I always loved it since I was a kid. I thought it was such a extreme. I mean, I cannot emphasize how extremely inspiring the original films were for me. Like, you know, like, yeah, a very big fan. And it's just like, now I can say that it's like, I cannot give a fuck about Star Wars. I don't care. It's like, yeah, it's they completely lost me as I lost all the interest because it what's the point? It's yeah. I mean, just think about it. The initial not the second trilogy, right? The ones from the 2000s, that they are bad. Okay, they are also bad. But now, of course, in relation with with the new ones, they're actually very good. So things have got so to that level where now people actually are considering the second trilogy like actually acceptable. and of course, if you compare them, they are, I mean, they are bad, but not on that level of bad. I mean, to be honest, I think the new Star Wars films are space Ultramarines bad on that level. It's just that at least the visuals are incredible. In the Ultramarines, the visuals were horrible as well, so there's no way to save that, but yeah. Dislocated Design, hello, hey, welcome to the stream. Totally agree on your assessment of current Star Wars. Yeah, right. Yeah, it is insane. But yeah, it's awesome to see you around. Maybe you've been lurking until now. Alviani, yeah, I cannot be more agree with you. And Lucius is an objective truth from the gods. It is trash. Yeah, it is bad with capital letters. I mean, it's I mean, like you were saying, it's one of these things that it's it's insane how they let it happen. And that's kind of, I think we need to take this as fandom. We need to take this as an example that even a beloved franchise as Star Wars, and you could say that it would be so difficult to make it that bad and to ruin it to this level. It can happen. So because another thing, let's say if the new films were on the level of the Solo film, it's like, okay, it's quite alright. I mean, I didn't loved it. I didn't liked it, even in the sense that I watched it and next day I forgot about it totally. But still, it was okay. It wasn't bad. You know, it's like, meh, completely forgettable, but it is, yeah. But no, it's just like, yeah. And that's something that I can completely forgive, right? Because it's like, okay, sure. I mean, to begin with, making a film is extremely difficult thing to do. That's also people take it for granted as well, right? So I'm also aware of that. Making a film is not easy at all. It's a very complex thing to do. And of course, not always is going to be perfect. Not always is going to be brilliant and fantastic. And that is fine. But what they have done with it, with a new trilogy, that is how do you say, it's a crime. Alviani, they pretty much destroy all that was built, but the stories of the original 6, it is so bad. Fortunately, Mandalorian was awesome, and I cannot wait for the Kenobi show. Yeah, that could be nice. I agree. That's another example of this thing that I was saying that they should do or be careful with 40K. Is like, yeah, you have plenty of possibilities to create and expand within the foundations and parameters of what is already established and what defines the IP. Like the Kenobi thing is like, okay, that is already established. So you can have plenty of creativity and to create new things that hasn't been seen yet, but without ruining the whole thing. Dislocated design. I found the sequel trilogy to be sterile even visually, especially The Last Jedi. Utter rubbish. The third one wasn't even trying anymore. Yeah, I mean, is one of the things why I enjoyed so much this video on YouTube, this review of the film. It was I was laughing so hard because it's like you are saying, it's like at some point it feels like they are not even trying. It feels like it get bad to this point of like they are making it for real. Is it, has it become a real comedy, or what is this? Is Adriani, yeah, don't worry with your writing. It's totally fine. Dislocated design. The Mandalorian I enjoyed quite a lot, and I thought Ahsoka looked perfect. But I'm also over Star Wars. 40K has my attention these days, and I have enjoyed far more 40K books than Star Wars novels. Yes, yeah. Yeah, 40K is the place. And let's hope that it remains. Yeah, and I'm still really would like to watch The Mandalorian, but I'm not gonna pay a subscription for one of these streaming thing just for a TV series. I'm not. I'm yeah. Pontus, you are 15 minutes behind chat. All right, yeah, there you go. I mean, you guys are writing like madmen. Red Letter Media reviewed the films in 1999 and 2005. I remembered that they were hilarious. Yeah, big guy with lots of toys must be different. Ah, okay, yeah. No, I think I know which one. No, this one is just the new ones. Yes, exactly. The new films. Yes. Yeah, The Mandalorian is pretty good as a standalone piece for sure. Yeah, that's what I have heard. And it is not as bad as Ultramarines. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing, that at least the Star Wars films, they have like an insane visual display, right? I mean, the designs, the special effects is just mind-boggling of how good they are. But Ultramarines, I still remember the hype that they built with the Ultramarine films. I remember it was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be so good. And I remember that they made this preview to a very select group of fans, and they made the interviews after they watched it, and everybody was like, yeah, this is so good. It's like, yeah, they're building the hype, right? And then they released it, and I couldn't believe it. It was like, it's like so bad in so many levels. It's just so insane. And you know, funny enough, you know that I'm all the time praising so much of how much I absolutely love Dan Abnett work. I'm the biggest fan of Dan Abnett. He's the one that wrote the script for it, if I'm correct. I might be making a big mistake here, but I think he wrote it. Of course, I have to say that it's very different to write for a novel, or I mean, it's a very different thing to write a script. So yeah, and who knows what happened within the process, right? Maybe what he wrote was a masterpiece, but then got ruined through the different iterations, or yeah, who knows? But yeah. I mean, is that bad that if I was one of the people that worked on it, and maybe it wasn't the fault of many people in there, who knows, but if I was one of them, it's one of these things that I would try to hide and never tell about, that you participated and worked on that project. It's like, it would be so shameful. Agumaf, es muy parecida la comparación con Terminator Salvation contra todas las nuevas. No es buena, pero se terminan bajando los estándares de lo que es aceptable. Sí, totalmente de acuerdo. Dislocated Design, I really hope 40K becoming live action films. It's in Horn series. It's not abortive or even bland. I want it to be interpreted in style grimdark that it is known for. Yes, same here. I'm very hyped for it. I will kill to work on the Eisenhorn series. I would kill to work on the project. I have started to make some moves to see if I can get in, but just very tiny moves and see what happens. At the same time, I'm so busy that I don't know if I would even be able to join, because these type of productions are very demanding. But yeah, I think it's great potentially, but at the same time, as a fan myself, I'm a little bit scared as well, because the potential for greatness is there, but the potential for horrible adaptation is there as well. So it's 50-50 for now. I mean, that's the thing, is like, and especially considering the fact, I mean, since I work with this type of things, I know I have a professional understanding, and I know that the 40k universe is extremely difficult IP to transform or to adapt to a live action film or series or whatever. It's very, very challenging, and because of the nature of the IP and the universe, it's filled with is a path filled with treacherous holes and problems that can turn things into extremely cheesy, silly, stupid, and over the top, that removes all the seriousness. And so yeah, it is a minefield, so to speak. So I'm so as a fan, I'm a little bit concerned. As a professional, I would love to jump into that challenge. And also another kind of concern that I have is that having people having a very strong creative weight, right, that have no real understanding on the universe. And of course, since they haven't explained much of who is involved, it's at this point is a speculation. I would guess, and I would bet that Amnet is gonna be involved, obviously, because he's the creator of Eisenhorn, and he has a lot of experience now working for films as well. I don't know if you know that he was involved. He was the one that created the Guardians of the Galaxy that the films were based on, and the type of scope of how they are. I mean, so my guess is that he is gonna be, or he's involved in it for sure. But I mean, no idea. But aside from him, that's my only kind of guess that I can give. Aside from him, yeah, everything else is just pure speculation, and and once again, the potential for being a mess is there. So Dislocated design. Red Letter Media's reviews on the new Star Wars were brilliant. Yes, yeah, but those. I mean, now I think I recall. But those were from the 2000. The ones directed by George Lucas. Well, guys, I think I think that's gonna be for today. I said I was going to go earlier, and here I am, almost the same as always. But I'm very tired. Alviani, yeah, I think no need to mention, just like just ignore, and it's fine. Lucius, I don't think I have emotionally recovered from watching it in theaters. I do not want to know what madness happened in those studios to produce such a horrific thing. Yeah, I know. It is. I mean, it's to the level of Battle Earth, right? Have you seen that film with John Travolta? That is so bad that you get to the point where you don't know if it is a comedy or not, so you are confused because you don't know how to read the film, because it's I think it's I have left. No, did I left the theater for that one? No, I don't think so, because I've at some point I decided that it wasn't bad, which is horrible, but it just was hilarious of bad, so I just decided to stay just to laugh. But have you seen Battle Earth? It's like, it's so bad. So I think it's on that level, if it wasn't because of the visuals, but yeah. Dislocated design. Your designs deserve to be part of the Eisenhorn series. Pre-production design, I would imagine. Thanks, man. Yeah, I would love to. Yes, I would definitely love to. Alviani, that is awesome. I saw that you worked in the new Love, Death and Robots. I cannot wait to see it. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was fun. It's about to drop, right? It's like in a week or something. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see it on screen as well. Yeah, very hyped. Gathering Wolves, see. You are lurky boy, just there laughing. Lucius, you haven't watched Battle Earth? Well, if you are up for... I mean, it's like the perfect film to watch with some friends, drinking and having a laugh. Because it is... exactly, you know, like, it's so bad that you start to think, like, is this for real? Is this for real, or is it an actual comedy? You know, it's because it's... Sí, Agumaf, sí, eso, exactamente. Yeah, and it is a good laugh. It is. See, Martin, wow, man, welcome to the stream. Very nice to see you. Has been a long time, but you know I'm about to stop because I'm super tired. But awesome that you made it, at least just to say hello. How are you doing? Yeah, Gathering Wolves. You have seen it as well, right? Yeah, it is. There are some few films that really get to that level of bad. It is, yeah. gathering wolves. It's like watching the Expendables or Steven Seagal movies. No, man. I think it's even those. I mean, the Expendables. I mean, it's. I mean, you could argue that they are well made, right? Because it's what it is about, and I mean, it's its own products, right? So it's very well crafted for what they are aiming for. So if you are into that, then sure. And they don't take it even seriously, right? So it's just, but this one with Battle Earth is just, they wanted to do a serious thing, and it's just like, see Martin, nice to hear, man. Yes, I'm about to just end the stream. Yes, because I'm very tired. But yeah, normally we start every Saturday at 9 in the evening, Central European time. And this is the illustration that we are doing, and yeah, pretty fun. So yes, but I mean, even though it's been for this tiny portion, but yeah, very glad to hear from you, man, and I'm very happy that you showed up. All right, guys, thanks again. I had a blast today. I am extremely tired, and I was planning to maybe do half an hour, the best. And yeah, we are here. I barely painted anything. You've been just like writing on the chat like mad people. So yeah, it took me quite a long time to catch up, but it's been great fun. So yeah, I will leave this I will just do it right away, because if not, I'm gonna completely forget about it. I will leave this review about the Star Wars films by this funny guy, and really it is very, very funny. So take care. Thanks a lot for joining. It's always a pleasure. Take care, stay safe and healthy, and see you next week. All right, bye bye, take care.